Good afternoon. Welcome to Council Update number 6. My name is John Leech. I'm the ASTT CEO, and I'll serve as moderator for this session today. We're in the ASTT office in Surrey, and with us this afternoon is President Keith Trulson. Good to have you, Keith.
Thanks, John.
We have Ben Brack, who is our tech resource today and does a marvelous job with our technology. Ben, thanks for helping out. Jason Jung is our Manager of Professional Practice and Development.
Good afternoon.
We have Karen Taylor, Manager of Member Services and Operations.
Hello, everyone.
Karen McDermott is our Manager of Fire Protection Program.
Hello.
And Cindy Aiken, Manager of Governance and Events.
Good afternoon.
Also in line, we have Barry Brooks, who is our Manager of Professional, or rather Property Inspection Program, and he's going to come online to deliver some remarks during the course of the session. We hope you had no issues getting registered. We are getting a little more proficient. We've got a new technology at work with us today, so hopefully we'll manage to get through all of this without too many glitches. At the moment, and I'm just looking on screen here, we have 60, what's the number there, Ben? 77 registered, so thanks to all of you for jumping online. Hopefully the screen that you see shows a header called Introduction and Processes. We do have the capacity to switch microphones on and off if you have a mic on your system. We'll be inviting Barry Brooks to come on board, and earlier on we tested to make sure that his mic is working, so we'll be back to you, Barry, in a very short time. We will be delivering a PowerPoint presentation, so key points that will be made will appear on screen, magically we hope, and in the sequence that we've planned. That would be delightful. During the course of this webinar, we'll be asking a number of questions, 6 in total, in fact, to engage you. So when the question comes up, you'll be asked to respond to the question. We'll leave the response open for about 15 seconds or so, and once we see that responses have died down, we'll pop up the response that you've given to the particular questions. We've got a fairly heavy program today, so we'll have to march along in order to be out of here at 1 o'clock. You have the opportunity as well to write a question or make a comment, and the best way you'll find on your screen is a link that will where you can drop in a question. We'll see it here in the office. To the extent that we have time, and I stress that, we'll take a look at those questions or comments and offer them up, or see if we can take those questions as the webinar proceeds. From time to time, we have provided an opportunity for people to come online to answer or ask a question directly. Today, we're not sure that we'll have time to do that, but if you do wish to get online, you can raise your hand, and that also is an instruction on your screen. So again, we'll conclude this at 1 o'clock. The topics for today, going to the next slide, include professional regulation and practice, member services, member recruitment and retention, public policy and services, and concluding with governance. To get us rolling under professional regulation and practice, we're going to invite Keith Trulson, President, to talk a little bit about where we're at on the implementation of PTech. Keith, over to you.
Thanks, John, and welcome everybody for this webinar. I'll get you up to speed on the PTech implementation point of view. Slide 4 is up on your screen, hopefully. I've got a couple of notes here that I'll read off to keep you up to mark here. ASTTBC has been working in recent years towards the launch of PTech, as mentioned in our previous webinars. In the process, we observed what was happening elsewhere, notably Alberta, PTech has been in place in Alberta for over 4 years and now celebrating over 800 registered members with specific individual rights to practice. PTech exists in various forms in 5 provinces across Canada. Alberta, as mentioned, Quebec, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland. Locally, ASTTBC worked independently and together with APEG-BC in a couple of the task groups examining the PTech options. All of this background work helped frame the ASTTBC approach to PTech. In January 2016, ASTTBC Council launched PTech in its Phase 1 form. We received some expression of concern from Alberta as the ASTTBC program did not match exactly their certification policies. With this information that was sent to us, Council had a chance to review the requirements of Alberta. And to ensure portability between provinces, Council has decided that we would strive to meet Alberta standards as the minimum requirements. PTech certification was put into a pause mode while we look at the differences between the 2 models, between Alberta and ourselves, and to look at a response to the Alberta model. About the same time, APEG-BC was approached ASTTBC with a proposed PTech to NGEL pathway. We have received a lot more information, and APEG-BC and ASTTBC staff has been meeting to gain full understanding and look to possible alignments. The PTech to NGEL pathway is being looked at along with PTech portability between BC and Alberta. Council has received a report from staff and has a couple of opportunities to consider next steps and best approach going forward. In January, the Council will review again with the expectations that a final report will be issued in February of 2017 for approval. And then once we get beyond the 2017, we will drop into the next phase of PTech implementation, which would be the Phase 2 portion of this endeavor. And now to Jason, who will talk a bit about the Qualified Professional Recognition.
Thanks, Keith. Hope everyone's having a great day today. I just wanted to speak a bit about Qualified Professional and QP for ASTTBC members. We've enjoyed some modest success over the years in acquiring members' rights to independent practice. Some of this recognition has been granted to or acquired by ASTTBC for our technologists, technicians, the ASCTC techs, and a number of the technical specialist areas. And this work continues. I encourage everybody to check the ASTTBC website for information outlining these areas of practice. ASTTBC and APEG-BC established the joint board to define practice areas that would be open to senior technologists, and some progress has been made with this board, and we are focusing our energies on the assigned task at hand, those practice guides primarily. ASTTBC is furthering our practice rights objective by producing professional practice guides. There are a number of them posted on the website, such as electrical, geomatics, site improvement surveys, mechanical, and there are others that we're working on. It's anticipated that additional guides will be developed in the coming months. ASTTBC continues the long, hard path of securing appropriate areas of independent practice, and we will be keeping you posted through ASTTE news and other media. At this time, I'd like to pass it over to John for question number 1.
Yeah, thanks, Jason, and I can update you that we've now got 98 people online. So I think that's, if I'm not incorrect, I think that's the highest number ever for a webinar.
Yeah. Excellent.
So we've got question number 1 up on the screen, and as I indicated earlier on, we'll actually run through 6 questions. So the question is up there. We ask that you take time now to respond to the question, and we'll post the results once everyone's indicated your response. While we're doing that, I just want to, I think, indicate to everybody that that this use of webinar technology is not entirely new to us. We have been experimenting. I see some names, Tina Boss, for example. Tina, thanks for joining us again. Some names that are very familiar and have sat in on previous webinars. A number of members of council I see are registered today. Ben, how are we doing with that?
It looks good, so I guess we can close the call.
So we're going to close the survey now, the question.
And I will just broadcast the results.
So you can see on your screen there that 98.4% of those participating have indicated support for the question. Do you agree ASTT should continue to seek QP recognition for members in areas where they have the competence to offer independent services? Thanks very much for taking the time, and throughout the course we will be reminding you that we're looking for your suggestions in terms of topics that we might consider for these webinars. Don't relax just yet, because we're going to follow this up with a second question. And it relates to the linkages that we have with a key partner of ours, and that's APEG-BC. Do you agree that ASTT should work in collaboration with APEG to jointly identify areas where the public is best served by all members of the engineering team, working to their full potential and with appropriate rights to practice? I know in the past we have offered up and sought your opinion relative to this very important issue, and we're anxious to make sure that we remain on track with members' interest in this area, and also the question of our cooperation and collaboration with other groups as we strive to work on practice rates.
Okay, I guess hopefully everyone
Looks like most have responded, so we're going to post the results. 97% indicating, 95.6, I can read. It just takes a moment. Indicated support for this, and we do appreciate your feedback on it. Certainly as we talk to folks in industry, with other organizations, with regulatory bodies, and with government in particular, we speak well of the important role that APEG-BC provides and the good work they do. We also indicate that it's critical for the two associations to work collaboratively on this very critical issue, and we anticipate future positive work anticipated as we continue to pursue the path of appropriate practice rights for ASTT members consistent with their competencies. Charles Joyner, our registrar, is not able to be here today, but he'd probably want to remind everyone that ASTT is now functioning in terms of its certification on a competency-based assessment program, and hence we're in a much better position to know firsthand the areas in which ASTT members have competencies. So again, thanks for your feedback on that. Now we'll go to the next slide, and Jason, who's going to talk a little bit about CPD and practice audits.
Thanks again, John. Pretty fitting topic here. Actually, right before the webinar, received a phone call from a member on this particular topic. So just wanted to report back on the CPD and practice audits. ASTTBC Council approved a policy in January 2015, and the policy, what it states is it requires all members to post their CPD activity to the ASTTBC website, essentially log your CPD. And the principle here is that professionals need to stay up with change, and the best way to do that is through professional development. ASTTBC also believes strongly that a review or an audit of CPD reporting is an appropriate role for a professional regulatory body. So a policy dealing with the auditing of CPD reporting by all members will emerge over the next 18 months, and it's anticipated that formal auditing of all members will commence by 2020. In addition to policy development, ASTTBC will need to have in place a robust software package that will enable auditing with a relatively limited staff time. And that software will be developed in 2017 and should be fully operational by the following year. It's possible that ASTTBC will start a soft launch of the auditing program in 2018. In terms of practice audits, a review or auditing of practice is already underway in a few areas. On-site wastewater and property inspection, for example, have been selected as pilot programs. And the rationale is that practitioners offer their services directly to the public or those that would be involved in the practice audits. The pilot initiatives will help inform the process for other fields within ASTTBC. Now over to Karen for some information on fire protection.
Thanks, Jason. Our goal in the Fire Protection Department and also ASTT is to work to enhance public safety. ASTT's objective is to make sure that those who inspect and test fire protection systems are fully qualified, registered, and accountable. And local governments look to ASTTBC to provide that assurance. We're looking to you to ask and to look around your community and encourage local governments to take a hard look at this bylaw that calls for ASTTBC certification as an RFPT. We also understand that there's a shortage of RFPTs in the sector, and as a response to that, ASTT has developed a government-funded program, and our goal is to put 48 new RFPTs into the sector in the next year. So we're working on that in the Lower Mainland. We're also updating our competencies. Thanks, Jason, for bringing up the competency, and also you, John, for the competency framework. And also we're researching a way to engage fire protection employers within this process. Looking at opportunities to do private training with different partners within the Lower Mainland to offer training within British Columbia. Thanks. Over to you.
I think at this point we're going to, Barry, get you queued up with your input on house inspection. Just before I do that, amplify Karen's comment around fire protection. It's a good example where the BC government and ASTT are working in partnership to help those that are not currently in the workforce, or those who might need some upgrade in order to get into the workforce and to find a rewarding job and career. So a solid example of that partnership tied to the BC Jobs Plan, very much tied to the Skills Blueprint. We have a number of other areas where where ASTTBC has been working in partnership with government, and Karen, thanks to you and your leadership in making that this particular initiative happen. So Barry, earlier on we tested your mic, and we believe it's all working, so we're going to open your mic now, and we ask you to open yours at your end. For those others, everyone else, now we have a full house, by the way, at 100. So thanks again to everybody for signing in today. Barry is located up in the Okanagan, and he is participating from that location. Barry, are you hearing us okay?
Yep, I can hear you, and I'm hoping you can hear me.
Yes, just fine. So we've got we've got on screen, as you can probably see now, or it's about to come up, with the house inspection title screen, and we're turning it over to you.
Okay, well, as I think many people know, there have been major changes undertaken by the BC government in terms of house inspection regulation. House inspection was regulated first in 2009, so it's been quite some time. And in 2013, just about 3 years ago, the government undertook a project to make some changes in that regulation that they felt were necessary. And one of the changes, a particular change, was to go from having licensing as primarily a function of the home inspection associations in the province, and there were 4 of them, to having Consumer Protection BC take the lead role in licensing in order to make sure that there was a level playing field for all inspectors in BC. So we've been undertaking that process basically for the last 3 years now. It's hoped that by March of next year that we will have a much clearer picture of what that final regulation is going to look like, even though it may not be implemented for several months after that. The new system where CPBC issues a license directly took effect in September of this year. ASTT has been engaged significantly in this whole process, particularly over the last year and a bit. Many meetings with government, many meetings with as advisors to various bodies, and a number of meetings with consultants who are doing the grunt work in coming up with these new rules and regulations. So we've been very supportive of this process. We've tried to help out as much as possibly we can. But we would note here that there are some considerations that will have to be resolved in the future. Once we know better what this new regulation is going to look like. Of course, ASTTBC also has its own active regulations, and our regulations also speak to the regulation and certification of house inspectors. So while CPBC issues the license, ASTTBC continues to have some responsibilities for our own members in that particular area. We're looking to ASTTBC to have continuing roles into the future, although that is still being defined, but certainly one of those roles would be continuing education for inspectors, and another role would be practice assessment, because Consumer Protection looks at their business practices. They don't really look at their competencies, and that will remain something that ASTTBC will be involved with. So I can't say too much more about this. I guess at this point I would just ask you to stay tuned for ASTTBC's e-news for further updates. And unless there's some question to me, I think I will leave it there, and we'll go back to the ASTTBC office and Jason for an update on underground utility locators.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, the underground utility locators, it's a new technical specialist program that has been approved by ASTTBC Council, and we just wanted to let everyone know about it and hopefully get a little bit of airtime for the program. It's an important program that we see that's been launched, and really want to promote it to those out there. Applications for the underground utility locators are now being received. It's all up online in the application system, and in fact there are a number of RULTs, which is what their designation is, Registered Utility Locating Technician, that have already been awarded. A formal launch event is being scheduled for early 2017, and you know, as the focus the focus for all certification programs, we wanted to make sure that people understood that this program is also out there to protect the public health and safety. In this case, also damage prevention is a key initiative for us. Industry asked us to qualify, certify, and hold accountable these practitioners that were advising on the infrastructure under the surface, and we've responded. If you would require any further information on the UUL, please be sure to visit the ASTTBC website more information. And I just wanted to take this opportunity actually to add that the Common Ground Alliance was a big push behind the initiative. I wanted to give some recognition, a big shout out to Dave Baspoli, the Executive Director of the BC Common Ground Alliance, and all the folk at the Alliance, along with our UUL Certification Board, for their vision and leadership in getting the program up and running. These people have been real champions for the ground disturbance community, and they deserve some recognition there, so thank you. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Karen Taylor, who handles our member services at ASTTBC.
Thanks, Jason, and hello, everyone. ASTTBC offers many member benefits and services that provides added value to certification and registration. In keeping with some of the information talked about today, one of the most important is the listing of workshops, conferences, and webinars and seminars that we post on the ASTTBC website. This listing is updated daily and also includes events and networking opportunities that may be beneficial to you with helping meet your CPD needs, so please take the time and check it out. As well, we have our Tech Club, which is our member services program that provides members with discounts on products and services. So with over 10,500 members, we were able to have group purchasing power to negotiate and provide members with access to exclusive group rates in travel, education, entertainment, events, and auto purchase, and more. As well, we have our Infinity Partner Program, which provides enhanced coverage on products such as home, life, and professional liability insurance. This program not only provides members with attractive rates, but helps our ASTTBC Foundation fund support STEM education awareness for residents in BC. So another initiative is Tech Jobs. Tech Jobs continues to attract a lot of attention. Tech Job is our job posting service where employers can market career opportunities to our members on the ASTTB website. This program continues to be utilized by both employers and potential employees alike, and it's growing at a steady rate. Again, we profile key services on the ASTTB website, so we encourage you to take a look as well. We will be keeping you posted on new programs and services on e-news, so check it out. Also, another note, reminder, AGM 2017 will be held next year on Friday, May 26th at the Sheraton Guildford in Surrey. So ASTTBC staff and council will be in attendance, and we would love to meet with you, as many of our members as possible, so we encourage you to please come out, learn more about ASTTBC, and network with other members and take in some technical sessions. To those who can't attend in person, the AGM will be, along with a couple of technical sessions, will be broadcast via webinar. So we hope you will mark that into your calendar to attend, again, Friday, May 26th. Final note, special service for employers is being developed, and we expect to launch this program in early part of 2017. So look for an upcoming announcement on this new service. And these are just some of the many valued services being offered to you in addition to professional certification, so we encourage you to take advantage of the benefits and engage in as many as possible. That wraps up the member services, and I'll pass it back over to Jason to speak on recruitment and retention.
Thanks, Karen. Recruitment and retention is obviously something that's extremely important for ASTTBC in terms of a member-based association. And as many of you know or would think, the entry point for many members is that of a student. In this area, we do have a pretty solid track record of recruiting hundreds of students per year, and I guess the challenge that we face each year is when they graduate, when groups graduate year by year and invariably start paying dues. It's important for us to make sure that we let people know the values of being a member at ASTTBC and what professional recognition means and what the role of ASTTBC is in developing those careers. With that said, I guess in the next 3 years we will be investing more to retain greater numbers of our graduate technicians and technologists. That's an area that, as I mentioned, is very important to us, and we actually look for some feedback from people to find out how it is we're performing in that area. Of note, you might be considering, what's it look like in terms of the retention for ASCTs and CTechs and technical specialists. I can report that usually the numbers are well above 90% retention. So it seems like there are no issues there, and we're doing a good job, and we hope you feel the same way. Also, to help support this initiative in recruitment and retention, we will be building new programming focusing on employers and employer support and value-added services that we can offer to employers. We will be encouraging a greater number of employers to support ASTTBC certification, and we ask for your support in doing that as well. We need members to talk with your employers, new grads that are coming into the workforce, to let them know about ASTTBC and the value of maintaining memberships with ASTTBC. So with that said, I just wanted to extend an appreciation to your continued membership, and in advance ask for your help in recruiting new members and showing what ASTTBC is all about. John, over to you. I think we've got a question coming up.
We do. Thanks, Jason. Just before we take that, Bruce Stevens is online from Kelowna and asked whether or not accreditations, and that's the review, evaluation, audit, if you will, of technology programs offered at public and private institutions, whether or not accreditation will become passé or no longer relevant when we're using a competency-based certification program. The short answer to that is no, it won't. When an individual makes application, and while they do go through the process of identifying competencies, they do post for us in the new totally e-business world with ASTTBC for technologists and technicians, and soon to be in place for all of our Tech Spec programs. We do invite members to post their educational credentials, and it is a consideration. In fact, as individual applicants define their competencies, some, and in some cases for newer graduates, many of their competencies will be as a result of their education program. So the short answer is that in Canada, accreditation is live and well. Some members, you may recall, that we have launched together with Technology Professionals Canada. We've launched an independent corporation called Technology Accreditation Canada, and under that banner, we are evolving a new accreditation model across the country. Another question was around QP recognition, and Jason did mention earlier that if you go to the ASTT website, I think it's under a header called Practice, scroll down and you'll find a table or several tables that identify QP recognition that has been advanced and achieved by ASTTBC. So this takes us to question number 3. Do you agree ASTT should be proactive in seeking member support in recruiting new members and retaining existing members, especially new graduates? So it's really around the question of ASTT investment of its resources in the area of recruitment and retention. So we're just waiting for everyone to respond to that question. We did initially have some comments from a number of individuals who were having a little difficulty. I'm not sure we're online and that they could hear us, but it seems like all of those issues have been resolved. So can we post the results then?
Okay. Here we go.
So very strong support for that question around ASTT being proactive in seeking member support. So that's asking members, our over 10,000 registrants, to engage with us in assisting as we reach out to recruit and retain existing members. As indicated, we're going to be building a new or enhancing our employer liaison program to engage employers in a bit more active way than we have in the past. We certainly understand full well that over the years ASTT has created quite a value proposition, a very positive value proposition, and providing services that are of significant benefit to employers, including supporting the initiatives that would help young people appreciate careers in science, technology, engineering, and math, ultimately lead them to hopefully a BCIT, Camosun, Okanagan College, or other institutions, and eventually become a technician, technologist, or technical specialist. And a number of other initiatives that are supporting what employers need in terms of attracting and retraining qualified people. I think we've decided we're going to keep you rocking with questions right now, so we're going to go to question number 4. And this speaks very specifically to the members. So this is to you as a member of ASTTBC. What kind of steps should we take, and how might we engage members in terms of recruiting and retaining members? How active will you become? So do you agree that we should engage with you in recruiting and retaining members? The spelling on my sheet in terms of retain is correct, but I noticed that the error up on the screen. So you don't need to send us a whole bunch of email messages. We'll get the spelling right. All right, so let's post the results there. Again, it would seem fairly solid support for ASTT to ask for your support, direct support in working on that. We have a couple of examples, pilot initiatives, in fact, up in the Okanagan with one of our council members, not to go into detail today, but we'll report on that as we work with a particular employer to gauge the level of interest on the part of technicians and technologists in a particular company that are not at the moment registered, talk with the employers to gauge their level of support and see if we can find the alignment that would convince both the employer on the one hand that there is benefit in having all staff registered as a professional, and then hopefully satisfying the unregistered technician, technologist, and technical specialist that there is enhanced value in terms of their careers by having membership in ASTTBC. So thanks again for response to that question. And now I'm going to continue talking just a little bit about public policy and services. I think everyone recognizes that our primary mandate, as spelled out in the statute and in all of the regulations and policies pursuant to the statute, our prime job is protecting the public, and we do that by providing professional certification, holding members to account, and the like. It's all about professionalism and making certain that governments, regulatory bodies, clients, customers, employers have confidence in the ASTT certification standards. We do build on that foundation and that mandate in areas that tie directly to the objects of the association. And so, for example, over the years, we have been working with First Nations, Aboriginal peoples. In 2008, we launched the First Nations Careers Council, and since then, the FNCC has done a lot of work in providing modest bursaries, doing a lot of coaching, mentoring, career counseling, attending career fairs, and the like to help build a healthy perspective with First Nations communities and people in terms of career opportunities in engineering and applied science technology. Likewise, working with internationally trained. And again, in both those areas, ASTT has an extraordinary partnership with the BC government. We have enjoyed some funding, joint funding initiatives, but funding from government that has helped us launch a number of initiatives. And we have state-of-the-art processes and information available for those considering coming to Canada and seeking a career as a technologist, technician, or technical specialist. Likewise, we've got our BC Women in Technology, and our current Secretary-Treasurer, Sarah Camden, was chair. Heather Andrechuk, a member of council in Prince George, is the current chair, and they have been bringing together women in support of promoting tech careers with young girls and with women. We are standing at around 10% of our members are female, and our objective is to do all that we can within the resources available to enhance those numbers. Recently, we've stepped our toe into working with government and with other bodies, supporting and looking at what ASTT might do with people with diverse abilities. We use that term and coined the term to acknowledge that we could do a lot more to engage individuals with varied abilities in our workforce. We did manage to get a small contract with the Ministry of Social Development and Social Innovation to look at engineering companies, technology companies, and take a snapshot and find out what they're currently doing around engaging and employing people with diverse abilities. That report will come out before the end of this year. And again, into the future, we anticipate ASTTBC will take on a role as a catalyst, as a facilitator in terms of working with people with diverse abilities. Jumping beyond that, one of the exciting initiatives is with Science World. We signed an agreement with Science World about 3 months ago, as I recall, and at our Technology Awards and Recognition celebration, the current and new CEO taking over from Brian Tisdall, who was 19 plus years at the helm of Science World, Scott Sampson was on hand to unveil with President Trulson and the ASTT Foundation a check for $20,000, which is ASTT's contribution to a joint initiative in part celebrating Canada's 150th anniversary, which comes up in 2017. And this particular initiative will allow us to reach out to local communities across the province of BC with a fun experiment. Here, remind me, the Kiever blocks, as I recall, I think they're called. Mm-hmm. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
And what the process will allow is for students of various ages to construct different engineering features such as bridges, etc., and talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. We would encourage you to stay in touch with these kinds of initiatives through e-newsletter and tweets that we send out from time to time. We hope as well that you might get involved at the local level, whether you're in BC or beyond. Another example where, and again, this ties back to employers, but also to members and a link directly with government, in this case at the federal level. ASTTBC collaborated with APEG BC, so with the engineers and geoscientists, with the Association of Consulting Engineering Companies, BC, headed by their president, Keith Sasha, and his leadership. And we produced a major report on labor market information, one of its kind in Canada, for describing in quite some detail the need and demand for engineers, geoscientists, technologists, and technicians. A major piece of work that very much ties in with government's jobs plan and the skills blueprint. Which I might say, just as an aside, one of our, I think you'd call it an achievement, is the fact that in addition to trades, and government has done a great job of promoting trades and continues to do that, we managed to have these BC plans make reference to technical careers in addition to trades. So that's a major step forward in terms of making sure that the technician, technologist, tech specs are very much part of that public policy strategies around labor market. So in these other areas, modest resources, fairly modest resources, are being applied in areas where ASTT has expertise and where there is a direct linkage with our broader mandate of professional regulation. Which takes us to the next question, question number 5. And this, again, seeking your feedback. I hope you are staying in touch with the e-newsletter, and I encourage you to take the time to read it each month that comes out. Likewise, we tweet on a fairly active basis a number of our initiatives, talking about the areas that I've just spoken about. So the question is, do you support ASTT investing in key public policy matters such as supporting First Nations youth, women, and internationally trained professionals for them to secure meaningful employment in technology fields? Are you supportive of ASTT investing? Great, let's post the results. Thank you. So we're looking at just under 80%, 77.4% in support for that particular initiative. We thank you for taking the time. Cindy Aiken is just reminding me that one of the significant achievements this year was a proclamation by the BC government creating Technology Skills Appreciation Week. Technology Skills Appreciation Week. The government this will carry forward into the years ahead, and so in March of 2017, there will be another Technology Skills Appreciation Week, and ASTT, in a fairly modest but proactive way, will be carrying out a number of activities in support of technology skills and drawing greater attention to the kind of work that you people do, the members of ASTTBC, and hopefully that will educate and inform others, parents, students, teachers, counselors, to at least have young people in particular take a look at careers in the engineering and applied science technology fields. We will be providing you with information as to how you, no matter where you are in the province or around the world for that matter, but in particular in BC, might get actively involved. So now we're going to change directions just a little bit and jump up to the very high level within ASTT around governance, and we're asking Keith Trulson to jump in on this topic. Keith.
Hello again. Governance, or most prominent would be council's work effort that happens on a yearly basis. As reported with the last update, ASTTBC Council is looking at ways to be more open to members and to the public. As the chair and president of ASTTBC, I want to ensure that an open and transparent governance process is maintained, and as a result, the council minutes have been posted on our website for some time now. Thanks, Cindy, for being on top of that. The AGM is offered via webinar for members no matter where in the world. In January, the council agenda materials will be posted prior to the meetings, so that way, if you're interested in joining us, you'll have an idea of what we're going to be discussing. The council meetings will be opened by webinar. Some technical sessions at the AGM and conference are offered via webinar. In 2016, we experimented in the use of webinars, as today. We will continue to improve the systems in 2017. ASTTBC Council decided that annual dues would not change in 2017. Council wants to ensure ASTTBC dues are appropriately positioned. We have a big mandate, and while it takes money, we wish to ensure all money is effectively assigned to programming consistent with our mandate. Council has asked staff to prepare a report on dues and fees for overall programming, and this report will be reviewed in May 2017 at the council meeting. So at this time, to be open and transparent, I do welcome your feedback and suggestions in all areas of ASTTBC operations. We will give you the ability to send in your questions, not only through the webinars, but through through a email resource through ASTTBC. Slide 19 So that's an overall viewance of our governance. So the next slide, which would be future topics for ASTTBC update. Perfect. Like I said, we welcome your feedback on this webinar and any other questions or concerns that you have, any way that you want to advance the governance model, how we can look to improve membership. We would very much welcome your input. So at this point, you can send us an email to techinfo@asttbc.org. It's listed there. One of us would be happy to get back to you and to bring forth your suggestions to council. So we're going to move on to question number 6, which would be your slide 20 for today. It's coming. So the question is, will you likely log into another ASTTBC update webinar? While we're waiting for that, if you do have questions today, you have a chance on your webpage to actually ask some questions to us. So if you do have anything you want to discuss about the previous information that was given to you, we are available.
Great, Keith. Good news is that
good news.
Yes, good news. We haven't bored people to death. That there's keen interest, and you can see the result up on screen, 97.2%. What's also interesting to note, Ben, I'm just looking for the number of people that are still online. I think we're
98.
98. So what's interesting about that, if you don't mind, and thanks again to each of you, that we started or ended up with 100 registered, and 98 are still online through the course of this webinar. So we do appreciate it, and who knows where we'll take the webinar. We are obviously still working with it. We do anticipate the possibility of special webinars tied to specific program areas, so very tight in terms of the focus, not a general update as with today. And anticipate as well that some of them may be briefer, so maybe 15, 20, or 30 minutes around a particular topic, depending on the topic and level of interest, obviously. So Keith, back to you. I think we're close to wrapping up.
Thanks, John. Yeah, and I appreciate everybody's willingness to attend during your lunch hour, grabbing your meals while listening to us. So we appreciate you being involved in this. So right now, this brings our webinar to a close. I can't reiterate that we would love to have your feedback. It is very welcomed, once again, at techinfo@asttbc.org. We are planning 3 more update webinars in 2017. So please stay tuned to the e-news and other notices for dates. So I just want to take this time to thank those that are in this room for participating, to give us the areas of expertise they're involved with. And we just thank you for joining us during the webinar. And on behalf of council and staff, I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a great year ahead in 2017. So thank you very much, all. John, back to you.
We're good. Thanks to everybody again, and we're out.
We have time.